Welcome back to More Than Enough. We are here with our special guest, Jasmine Lovett, and she's telling her heartbreaking story of how she battled depression. And before the break, we were just talking about, the apex of all the events coming, to that boil where you were on the bridge. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you dealt with it after?
Well, I was actually out of work for a month and a half. So this whole event happened early in 2016, June of 2016, actually. So I was out of work for a month. I was going to therapy appointments. I was seeing a psychiatrist. I was being placed on medication. And things kind of fell into place on their own. I started, seeking out to my family a lot more. I started, kind of feeling a more happy Jasmine once again as my family knows me.
Right. And you think that reaching out to people, reaching out to anyone, family, friends, it helps?
Definitely. One thing I've learned is that I cannot isolate. And that's what a lot of people do when they're depressed, is they isolate. That's the #1 bad thing to do. Because when you isolate, and this is coming from a spiritual side of me, is that, when you isolate, that's the devil's opportunity to come in and steal and kill and destroy. So it's never a good idea to isolate.
I definitely see where you're coming from, because to me, I would think that if you're all in your head, it's open to only your thoughts and, no one else giving their feedback about, your situation.
Yeah.
So, okay, can you walk us through the timeline of events? Did everything go uphill from then after you?
Yeah, so things started to go uphill. I returned to work at the end of August, and, things were going great. My friends were, so excited to have me back to work. And I was just kind of getting back into the flow of things. I was taking my medication as prescribed, and things were just getting really, really well. I moved out to Delaware, and I moved, back to Delaware in December.
Okay.
With a roommate, and so things were going really, really well.
And this is in 2016? Okay.
Yeah, so I moved December 1st to my new apartment, which I'm still currently at, and things were going good. Me and my roommate had a blow up about something very, very small. At the time, I had stopped taking my medication. Okay. And so, because I felt like I was fine. I felt like there's no reason to be on this medicine if you feel okay.
Right.
So
makes sense.
I stopped taking it, and that was a bad thing to do. So, this little argument that could have just been, I disagree with you, you disagree with me, turned into actually a physical fight, where the next morning I woke up and my body was in complete pain. And then...
Now, was this pain that was from both the argument and not taking your medication?
No, this was pain from the argument.
Okay.
But that night, when I had went back into my bedroom, I looked at the medicine bottle that was on my nightstand. I opened it, I poured a few of them in my hand, and I just popped them, not realizing, I can't say not realizing, but wanting to take my life. Not realizing that I was going to wake up the next morning in as much pain as I did.
You say how many is a few?
I took 6. My usual prescription is 1 100 milligrams. So I took 6 of a 100 milligram pill. I woke up and my brain felt like it was on fire, and not only was my body physically hurting from the physical fight, but my stomach was so upset. I couldn't keep anything down. I couldn't eat anything, and it was just because the medicine that I took was way more than what I was supposed to take, and it was working its course through my body.
So what were your thoughts? Like, what were you thinking before you took the 6 pills?
That I didn't want to live anymore.
Do you think that was a culmination of what had previously happened, in your life, and now the arguments with your roommate?
Definitely. I feel like it all ties in together, and I just feel like the fight was what led to that explosion that everyone talks about when you're depressed. So it led to another explosion. I took the pills. I didn't get out of bed all the next day. I literally got out the bed just to shower and get back in bed.
Now, when you were taking the pills, were you sort of anticipating waking up the next day, or subconsciously did you think that, you know, this is the end right here?
Yeah, I thought it was the end. I was actually really upset the next morning when I woke up, just because of the fact that I did wake up. So yeah, I was really mad that I woke up.
So after you did wake up, which thankfully I think now do you recount back and think, you know, it was a godsend that you woke up?
Definitely. So after, you know, the day of staying in bed, the very next day I text my friend and I said, I don't want to be here anymore. And she said, what does that mean? And I said, I just want to not be here anymore. And next thing I know, she's at my front door.
So that's a good thing that, you know, you reached out to her, so then she came to comfort you.
Definitely.
I think like a step in the right direction towards like healing from the events.
Definitely. And, you know, after talking to her for a little bit, I started searching on my phone for somewhere to go, to get help. Because when you're at that state where you've taken medication to kill yourself, you need help. And that's where a lot of our youth don't realize, is that when you go to these extremes to take your own life, there are resources out there to help you, to get you back to where you need to be, to know that your life is worth something here on this earth.
Of course, right. And that's, I'm glad you brought that up, because I think after we come back after our break, I'd love for you to talk about different ways that you think would help the youth understand that there are people that they can reach out to for help.
Definitely.
So we'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
Beyond the filtered images lies our truth. One day,
You embarrass me in the United States Army over some dumb girl? Don't talk bad about her!
You need to man up.
What? Man up? What are you trying to hide?
4 families,
How do you know he really knows your dad?
Girl, I'm not stupid. I checked him out on Facebook.
Tú no puedes hacer esto. Tú y yo. What about us?
a state of emergency.
What? No, What's wrong?
A family affair.
911, what's your emergency?